I would watch that. That's interesting. What was that? They're not taking over. I could answer that. This is a fun question. Kayla Wallace is best known for her role as Fiona Miller on the Hallmark Channel series When Calls the Heart, 2019 to 2024. I mean, that is true. I was a part of that show for those years, and I played a character named Fiona Miller, and it was a really wonderful time. I met my husband on that show. Kayla initially auditioned for a different character, Ainsley Norris, but during the casting process, Taylor, Sheridan, and the producers decided she was a better fit for Rebecca instead. That is true. I auditioned for Ainsley at first. I sent a self-tape audition from Vancouver. I became Rebecca. So the first audition, I almost didn't do it because it's a younger character. I'm not 17 and I always think that I look older than I am. So I almost didn't do it. My lovely team was like, come on, let's just try. It ended up working out. I sent another tape and I sent another tape. I flew to Texas, met Taylor. Now I've been on the show for 2 seasons and it's a dream come true. Okay. Rebecca Falcone is a sharp, ambitious liability attorney on the series Landman who was hired by the oil company MTEX Oil to handle the legal fallout of a fatal accident. True. I would agree with that statement. She is sharp. She's very ambitious. Yeah, there was a couple accidents last season, and you'll see some more chaos this season in season 2.
Rebecca go to law school.
Columbia Law School. Where did they get that from? No, she went to Northwestern. You'll see it on her hat in the wonderful snake scene that we filmed in season 1. I don't have the hat. I didn't get to keep the hat. I mean, it's probably still floating around in the wardrobe truck. I'll snag one next season, if we get one. I could answer that. She could have some of the traits useful for being a lawyer, in brackets, work ethic, willingness to study, confidence, but there's no indication she currently intends to go into the legal profession. That is true. I do not intend to go to law school at this point in my life. I love playing a lawyer, but I'm not a very confrontational person in real life. I think if somebody was yelling at me in a courtroom, I might just crumble and, let them win. I'm very Canadian in that way. I mean, maybe I could, unless it was like a family member or, my dog, if she needed a lawyer, I'd go to bat for her. What was that? The character Rebecca Falcone in the series Landman is best described as an anti-hero rather than a clean-cut hero. Wow. I'm just doing my job. Don't hate the messenger. It's a lot of fun to have the power that she has and to play around with those scenes. So I have a lot more fun being a more stronger character than somebody that's more like me, a little more quiet. I don't know if I'm an anti-hero though. That's harsh. You'll see in season 2. Kayla Wallace says her favorite scene from Landman is the deposition sequence in episode 4. That's true. That was a really fun day. That scene in particular was one that I read the script, got so intimidated by the size of the monologues and the amount of legal jargon that I had no idea what it meant. And then it turned into this really wonderful, fun scene that I got to play around with all day. And it was just one of my favorite memories. It was a very powerful moment. And I felt like I had accomplished something because I went from total panic to, okay, I might have this. If I saw a clip, I could probably redo it in the moment. I remember the word frivolous was in there. So we did the first part, we're deposing Billy and he's on camera. And then, I give him a little wink and then we walk out into the other room. So we did those scenes in order, which was great. Maybe worked on that scene for 3 hours and then other scene, maybe 5 hours. A lot of strutting in heels. I remember my feet were so sore at the end of that day. Rebecca is a sharp, idealistic corporate lawyer driven by strategy and ethics, while Tommy is a rugged, instinct-driven oilman, grounded in experience and survival. Intellect versus grit. I would agree with that. That is a true statement. I love how smart she is and how she can always think on her feet. She can take any piece of information that she learns within her day and use it as a weapon to succeed. Answer: she described Billy Bob as incredibly grounded and kind and said that he has this way of making everybody feel seen. Yes, I did say that, and yes, that's very true. He's very kind, he's grounded, he says hi to everyone, he hangs out with us in the green room. He's awesome. We're so lucky to have him. This is a fun question. Billy McBride excels as a seasoned, justice-driven courtroom lawyer, while Rebecca Falcone dominates as a strategic, high-power corporate attorney, making each better in different ways. However, if I had to pick one, overall, Billy McBride is the better lawyer. Okay, I mean, he put in more time than me, so that's fair. Let's try to get Rebecca some more seasons, and then we'll come back to this. I feel like I need to do it in an AI voice, like a Siri voice. I couldn't find a verified on-set moment from season 2 of Landman that's been publicly shared by Kayla Wallace. Not yet. The most notable behind-the-scenes anecdote from season 1, she filmed a scene with a real rattlesnake. Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, we've been talking about season 2 these past few days, but people probably haven't seen those interviews yet. The snake was pretty notable. Yeah, I showed up that day. There was, I think, 2 ambulances on standby because there was 2 snakes in case the first one wasn't wild enough. They had another one on standby, and they ended up using it because the first one was just asleep, curled up in a little coil, and then they brought in the crazy one that ended up making the show. Rebecca will face a moral crossroads, and she will challenge the oil company she serves. Yeah, I can't really give away too much more about that. But I mean, there's always challenges with MTechs. Nothing ever runs smoothly. Yeah, she will face a moral crossroads. Stay tuned. There are hints of something more between Rebecca and Tommy, but nothing confirmed as a full love interest storyline. I'm just gonna say stay tuned, keep watching, and everyone will find out for themselves. Mike McCluskey from Mayor of Kingstown. Their dynamic could be a mix of strategy versus street smarts. Rebecca with her boardroom legal maneuvering, Mike with his instinctual, no-nonsense approach to justice. I mean, I don't know if she could date a lawyer. She'd be too competitive. I don't know about that one. Oh my gosh. Rebecca is secretly the daughter of Monty Miller, which would explain her sudden rise and her deep involvement at MTech's Oil, and that she's unaware of this fact? AI is stirring the pot. I mean, I would watch that. That's interesting. Keep watching and you'll find out if that's true.
No comment.
No comment. Answer. Rebecca leaves MTech's Oil after a high-stakes fallout and launches her own corporate investigations and litigation firm. She takes on morally gray cases involving powerful corporations, environmental crisis, and high-stakes boardroom politics. I mean, I think those 3 things that's what she wants to do. That's her dream. So I could see that. I could see her having her own firm. What would it be called? Land woman. The oil industry would have to be involved. Maybe she becomes a land woman. That's a very funny question. Like she's a superhero or something. She's got to like look in the mirror and pose. Okay, Rebecca Falcone's go-to power pose before a big meeting is likely standing tall with her hands on her hips and confident, steady gaze, projecting authority and control. Oh my gosh, if she like stands and looks at herself in the mirror before she walks into a room, I mean, whatever works. But I don't think she has the time. I think she'd rather like be researching her opponent's information, but that's very funny. I'm gonna do that on set. I'm gonna like... Kayla Wallace's first professional job in the entertainment business was as a dancer in the 2014 Disney movie Descendants. That is true. I was dancing a lot that year, and my friends were all going to this open dance audition. I joined. I got the part as a dancer in the Descendants, in the Be Our Guest song. That kind of kicked it off. That was my first job. Moved to Vancouver the next year and got into the industry. I mean, I think AI was pretty on point for the information about me and the things I've said and the jobs that I've done. AI's imagination of season 2's, I think their theories of season 2, it's interesting, but it's no match to Taylor Sheridan's writing. AI did all right. They're not taking over.